Prime-time local news, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
Well, happy Wednesday, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Primetime Local News. Connor Chan, Elise Darwish here to lead the show for today, including our question of the day. What was something that you thought was cool when you were younger, but now as an adult is not cool?
Well, I think I was just going off of like fashion trends, like the 90s style was very cool, like we said, frosted tips and the hipster jeans and all that kind of stuff, yeah. So that was cool at the time, but now it's not.
I mean, retro's a thing now. It's like coming back. People are just
repeats itself,
like
right?
jean jackets and all that stuff, like just the denim tuxedos and all Canadian tuxedos and stuff. So,
it's true.
I mean,
it's true.
Well, we'll read some of those comments later on in the show, but right now let's head over to Brett Holden live at the X tonight.
Well, we're here at the All Candidates Forum, which is going on here at the Lloydminster Exhibition Grounds. Things are going to get started at around 6:15 here, so come on down and educate yourselves and learn more about some of the candidates here in our region. It'll be the Vermilion, Lloydminster, and Wainwright candidates here. So come down and educate yourselves on the votes and this year's election as well. So we'll have a little bit more coming up from here, but for now, let's head back in the studio.
The Saskatchewan Ministry of Health is reminding people to protect themselves from hantavirus. Hantavirus is transmitted by deer mice, and exposure is most common at this time of year when people are cleaning buildings and vehicles after winter.
So the common reservoir around North America for hantavirus is are rodents, wild rodents. There are some voles that can potentially transmit the disease as well. It's transmitted in their feces, their urine, and their saliva.
Symptoms, which are similar to the common cold, can take 1 to 6 weeks to appear.
The initial symptoms would be a dry cough, fever, headache, just a general feeling of being unwell, but notably there is no sore throat, no runny nose, and no sore ears.
Wearing gloves and opening windows can reduce the risk of contracting the virus. Anyone experiencing symptoms should see their doctor. An event for Parkinson Awareness Month is happening next week. Parkinson's Association of Alberta is putting on a tapped out food and beer event at the Three Trees Tap and Kitchen.
And you pay $25 and you will get a flight of Ribstone, Creek, and Fourth Meridian beers. So it's about 4 samplers, and then a chef-created sample of appetizers.
The purpose of this event is to raise money and awareness for Parkinson's disease.
It's a way for us to engage a younger demographic and let them know about early and young onset Parkinson's disease. The thing with Parkinson's is a lot of stereotype around it is that it's an old person's disease, and this festival is allowing us to change the face of who it affects and let people know that 5 to 10% of people diagnosed with Parkinson's disease are actually under the age of 40.
The event will be taking place on April 10th, and for more information, you can visit Tapped Out on Facebook. And we'll head to Bonnyville now, where you have until Friday to get registered for the Kids Sport Dodgeball Tournament. Our Justin Marshall looks into it.
Hey, it's Justin Marshall from Cool 101.3 at the Players Lounge, proud sponsors of the 6th annual Dodgeball Tournament. You know the movie, you know Dodgeball is so much fun, and it's April 12th, 7 o'clock at the Bonnyville C2, and then after, we're going to have a party at the Players Lounge, right?
Yeah, you bet. A little after party at the Players Lounge. We present the tournament champs with their T-shirts of victory, and yeah. We'll have a little social afterwards.
By the way, this is Brad, the chair of Kids Sport, Brad Olin. I mean, he needs no introduction. You guys all know him. How fun is Dodgeball? I got to play this year, but I know you've been all 6 times, right?
Yes, I've organized it. This will be the 6th year, and it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun just to be there and watch and see adults act like kids a little bit on a Friday night. And yeah, it's just a great event all around.
So if people want to get registered to act like kids until they're 5 years old on a Friday night, how do they do that?
They can contact me through Facebook on our Kids Sport Bonnyville Facebook page, or else email me at bollen@md.bonnyville.ab.ca. The poster is on our Facebook page, though. Check it out there. Contact information for myself and Victoria, as she's a great supporter of myself and a contributor to the Kids Sport Bonnyville board too. So.
And trying to balance sports and school can be a tough task for some, but the LPSD Hockey Academy is changing that. Our Brett Holden has more on the program in this week's Beyond the Classroom.
These young skaters are taking a break from papers and pencils and are picking up their sticks and strapping up their skates for their next class, Hockey Academy.
Monday through Thursday, so 4 days a week, we have what we call academy time in the afternoons. So students that are enrolled in our programs will get picked up from their schools at approximately 1:25 in the afternoon. When they're on the ice, we're doing a number of different things. Some days, today for example, we've got an individual development day where the students are actually getting to, they get to decide and pick on an area that they want to focus on.
Participating schools include College Park, Randall Park, and Bishop Lloyd, and even with the Hockey Academy, school always comes first for the students.
One of the other important areas that we've found in our Hockey Academy is just is the fact that we've got a lot of students that their standing in school seems to be way up. Their enjoyment of going to school in the morning.
Well, it's like you wanna go, but school always comes first. That's what my mom and dad always say, and I agree with them. School does come first.
The program also has the benefit of having former professional players running the program, including Lance Ward, who spent 6 seasons in the NHL with the Florida Panthers and the Anaheim Mighty Ducks.
Yeah, I guess the more that I've been involved in the program here, the more that it's kind of bled over into my beliefs. And so, I guess my past as being a professional definitely ties into what we do, and it, I guess it's something that the kids think is pretty cool as well sometimes.
Ward says having the anticipation of hitting the ice is something students really look forward to.
For the most part, it seems to improve their standing when they're at the school. It lets them focus a little bit more on their academics when they're there. And then, also gives them that outlet at the end of the day where, these high energy kids and kids that are focused on sports and hockey specifically are able to continue to work on that.
Registration for the program begins on April 4th at the Service Sports Center starting at 7:30 p.m. For This Week in Beyond the Classroom, I'm Brett Holden.
Beyond the Classroom is brought to you by Lakeland College. Apply to the hairstyling program and take the lead working with clients in the on-campus salon. Lakeland College, leading learning since 1913.
And now we're going to go to Brett Holden, who is live on location at the Lloyd X.
Well, the people are starting to pile in here at the All Candidates Forum, and we're joined now by John Winter here. You're going to be the moderator for tonight. So what does that entail for a moderator?
Pretty much sum it up, it's the referee of the candidates forum. So just make sure that all the candidates get their fair share to say their piece, and that nobody's taken extra time unfairly than the others, and just make sure that all the questions, we're not repeating questions, that if some of the different residents are asking a similar question, we just kind of sum it up into one question. So yeah, and I have a question collator and a timer and some helpers up to kind of help me do my job. So yeah, just kind of be the referee and make sure that everything goes on time and smoothly as it should.
So definitely a very busy job here.
Yeah,
tonight.
no, it's I've done it a few times, so it's nice to have a few other elections under my belt or some other times to moderate. So, but no, it's fun, and it's a great opportunity for the residents to hear from all the candidates. So looking forward to it.
Sorry about that. We're running a little bit out of time here, and about 30 seconds here. But just really quickly, I just want to talk about the importance of tonight.
Yeah, no, it's we have 6 candidates that'll be joining us, so I think that's everybody that's going to be in there. So looking forward to hear what everybody has to say, and I'm sure there'll be some great questions from the city.
Absolutely. Thank you for joining us, John.
You bet. Thanks.
We'll have a little bit more coming up from here at the All Candidates Forum as people are starting to pile in here. Everything kind of gets started at 6:15, and as well, everything does definitely get started at 6:30. So come down, come learn about this year's elections, and as well as the candidates in our area. We'll have a little bit more coming up from here at the Lloyd X, but for now, let's head back into the studio.
All right, thanks very much, Brett. Take a look at your temperature right now. 5 degrees, mostly cloudy, and a bit of sunshine as we can kind of see as the sun's starting to set down in the next hour or so. Mostly cloudy that we had throughout the day. Some decent winds we had, though, at 36 kilometers an hour, so it does feel a little bit cooler than 5 degrees, maybe for more like 2 or 1 degree. So records for this time of year, 17 degrees was our warmest day back in 1992. Back 10 years ago, before that, after that, it was minus 22 back in 1982. Take a look at that satellite radar map now. A bit of cloud coverage going on in the Edmonton, Vegreville, Marwayne area. We are going to see a bit of cloud coverage over the next couple of days up until Monday, where we should have more sun than clouds, but we'll showcase those numbers later on in our 7-day forecast. No watches or warnings right now for the area to take a look at. 5 degrees right now in Lloydminster, 10 degrees out in Edson, Red Deer, and Edmonton, 5 degrees for Athabasca, 7 degrees out in Whitecourt, 8 in both Jasper and Rocky Mountain House, 0 out in Melfort and Prince Albert, 1 degree out in Meadow Lake, 3 degrees for Cold Lake, 6 degrees for North Battleford, and 9 for Saskatoon. Let's take a little more in-depth look to our regional temperatures. -1 overnight with mostly clear skies and a few clouds there. Warming up to 9 degrees tomorrow with mostly cloudy skies, their daytime high. -5 overnight in Cold Lake with a bit of cloud coverage. Mostly clear for the most part. 3 degrees tomorrow with the daytime high with some flurries in the possibility there. -1 for us here in Lloydminster overnight with cloudy skies. Warming up to 5 degrees tomorrow with mostly cloudy and a bit of sun coming out there. And taking a look at the next 3 days, a low of -5 to start off Friday with a high of 6 degrees. Same results as Thursday, mostly cloudy with a bit of sun there. And 11 degrees on Saturday with a 64% chance of some rain with a low there of 0. That's a look at your weather right now. We'll have more primetime local news coming up after the break.
Taking a look at your local sports now, Chuck Wagon drivers have been itching to get back on the track, and after massive sponsorship support at the 20th annual CPCA tarp sale last night, they're really chomping at the bit more impatiently than their horses. Josh Ryan has more.
Veteran horse trainer, wagon driver, Barry. After a tough couple of years of economic downturn, the total amount of tarp sale dollars going to CPCA drivers in 2019 is more than $232,000, easily clearing last year's total of $189,000. A variety of factors come into play with the total, including an increasingly competitive field.
And those guys that were there before are just going to try and get that much better, so it's going to make it, I think, probably more interesting, and there's a better group, like a bigger group going to Calgary this year.
Dale Mitswing's impressive rookie performance last season was a jolt to the standings, and many drivers feel others can make that jump.
Two guys I don't think are going to be any slouches. Going to be Danny Ringette and Lane Turney. I think they're going to really take a big jump this year, and if the guys at the top aren't ready, they're going to be moving them out of there.
Further adding to the intrigue is the league's first ever female driver, Amber LaRue, who's excited to fulfill a lifelong dream.
You just start to grow up and realize where you want to be, and this is where I want to be right now in my life, and I'm standing here, I guess, so.
Several drivers hope to keep bringing in new fans by interacting with social media, letting them in behind the scenes.
It's just showing a little more aspect of the sport, and more rather than focusing just on that one goal of driving.
And for the die-hard fans, it's one last look at the legend Ray Mitswing, who ages out this season.
Every show he's at, it'll be the last time he's at that show, so it's going to be rewarding that way to watch it, and kind of sad to see him go, but I'm looking forward to this year.
Josh Ryan, Primetime Local Sports.
Bantam AAA Bobcats defenseman Masden Leslie was named top defenseman and rookie of the year in the Alberta Bantam AAA North Division this season. Leslie scored 23 goals and 27 assists for 50 points, 13th in the province and first among defensemen. He added 9 points in the playoffs. And now we're going to go to Brett Holden, who is live on location at the Lloyd X.
We're back here at the All Candidates Forum as things are about to get started, but we're joined once again by John Winter, who's the moderator for tonight before everything gets started. So let's talk about expectations. Obviously, there's a huge crowd here now, yep. And so what's kind of your expectations for tonight?
It's just a great chance for the public to get their questions asked, to get all the candidates in one spot, and really get a feel for who the candidates are and what their platform is to represent. And I mean, by the turnout tonight, it shows how important this election is to Lloydminster and area.
Absolutely, and as you see around us, as we mentioned already, the huge crowd around us. But let's talk about the importance of getting ready for an election and voting in this year's election.
Yeah, I mean, that's all I ask my friends, my co-workers, just educate yourself. You exercise your right to vote and educate yourself. So, I mean, that's exactly what this forum is for a chance to people to learn who the candidates are and ask the questions that they have that affect them.
And for people who are planning to come on down here still, what are just quickly some expectations they can have for tonight?
Yeah, so it'll be a couple hours. We have all the candidates get to do their introductions and then questions from the floor, and then even about 8:30 we'll be wrapping up, and there'll still be a chance for the public to talk one-on-one with a certain candidate if they have a certain question that didn't get asked or whatever. So yeah, it's a full evening of stuff, so still time to come on down.
Beautiful. Thank you for joining us, John.
Okay, thank you.
We'll have a little bit more coming up from here at the All Candidates Forum as everything is starting to start here. So we'll have a little bit more, but for now, let's head back in the studio.
All right, thanks very much, Brett. Take a look at some other current temperatures right now. 5 degrees right now for us here in Lloydminster, 5 also out in Maidstone, 0 degrees for Meadow Lake, 3 for Green Lake and St. Walburg, -5 out in Isle La Crosse, 10 degrees out in Edmonton, 7 out in Vermilion and Vegreville, 12 degrees out in Provost and Wainwright, 5 degrees for Bonnyville, 3 degrees for Cold Lake, 2 degrees for Lac La Biche, 5 for Marwayne. Take a look at some other temperatures. 5 degrees out in Grand Prairie, 7 degrees here in Slave Lake, 2 degrees, in Peace River, -7 out in High Level, -9s in Fort Chipeway, -6 in Fort McMurray and La Loche, as well as Buffalo Narrows. La Ronge sitting at -7, -5 for Flin Flon, -9 also out in Wollaston Lake, and -10 out in Stony Rapids. Take a look at some other temperatures right now in southern Saskatchewan. 11 degrees right now for Swift Current and Moose Jaw, -8 degrees, in Regina and Estevan, 13 degrees for Kindersley as well, 13 degrees out in Lethbridge, 14 for Medicine Hat, 12 degrees for Calgary, 8 degrees for Banff, and 11 degrees for Coronation. Take a look at your temperatures for tomorrow around our region here. 5 degrees for us here in Lloydminster, 4 degrees out in Vermilion, 5 in Vegreville, 4 in Edmonton, 3 degrees all across upper northern Alberta there in St. Paul, Bonnyville, Cold Lake, and in Pierceland in the Saskatchewan side, 1 degree out in Lac La Biche, 10 degrees tomorrow for Provost, Macklin sitting at 11 degrees, Maidstone at 6 degrees, 9 degrees for North Battleford, 4 degrees for Meadow Lake and St. Walburg, 3 degrees for Green Lake, and -1 for Isle La Crosse. Let's take a look at your school day forecast for tomorrow, as it's going to be mostly cloudy throughout the day. 0 degrees to start off the day at 8 a.m., 2 degrees at recess time with still those clouds coming, 4 degrees at lunchtime there. Home time, the sun might pop up a little bit there, but getting to the daytime high there of 5 degrees. Take a look at the next 7 days. Yes, it's going to be mostly cloudy for the majority of the 7 days. 6 degrees for us on Friday, 11 degrees on Saturday with a 64% chance we'll get some rain there. 12 degrees on Sunday with mostly cloudy skies and a bit of sun there. 12 degrees on Monday where the sun should be up a lot more than it has been the past couple of days. 13 degrees on Tuesday with a 56% chance of some flurries there with a low there of 1, and we'll see the low of 1 again on Wednesday with that high of 12 degrees with mostly cloudy skies and a bit of sun. That's a look at your 7-day forecast. We'll have more primetime local news coming up after the break. All right, so our question of the day is what was something that you thought was cool when you were younger is now not cool now that you're an adult? Some of the comments that big 80s hair, that's like the perms. I don't know if that's still a thing.
I think anyone who looks back at their photos of school or high school or any kind of pictures, you think, what was I thinking? Why was that cool? I thought I was the coolest person.
I thought I was cool because my yearbook quote was like this long.
Oh yeah,
I was like, oh no.
Quotes and you just,
I went a little too overboard there. Some other things some people commented, cassette tapes.
Oh.
That's another one.
Yeah, and Discmans.
Walkmans.
Discmans, yeah, those were cool. But they never fit in any sort of pocket, and if you turn them sideways, the CD would skip. It was just a disaster, but it was the coolest thing ever to have one.
And then those CD cases as well. I had the one that was like the dual, like you put your Walkman and your CDs in there.
Yeah,
like, you remember that?
Yeah, technology was really cool at the start there. And now it just seems so irrelevant. Even like the first iPad and the iPod and like that the first big one that you could get, I don't know. We all thought we were so cool.
I know, right?
And then you just look back and you think, oh no.
It's nuts. I can't imagine. I remember my first iPod, and it's just pretty cool back in the day.
Super cool, yeah,
exactly.
It was.
Well, it's time to take a look at your pets, because it's that time of the show where we showcase 5 pets from today. Take a look at Thor here. Very cute cat submitted there by Cassie. Up next, we have Misty, submitted by Hannah. Just really, really cute.
Taking some
sleepy,
naps.
little sleepy pupper there.
Yeah.
Next, we have Carmela, submitted there by Dana.
Enjoying the sun.
This is Jefferson, submitted there by Robin. Very cute looking cat. Next, and last but not least, this is Miko, submitted there by Amanda.
Very cute.
Well, if your pet was shown on today, you're automatically entered to win a Lloydminster Pet Pad gift card, which we're giving away at the end of the week.
We want to see your pets. Send photos of your pet and their name to our Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram to have them featured on Pet of the Day. Your name will be entered into a weekly draw for a gift certificate from the Pet Pad.
Here at the All Candidates Forum. Things have gotten started inside now, but we're outside, joined by Jonathan Thorson here as the city councillor, obviously. So let's talk about some pressing issues that you think heading into this year's election.
I guess, you know, a lot of the issues are pretty obvious in terms of what a lot of the politicians are talking about right now. But as a councillor, there are a few pressing issues that are really important to cities and municipalities. One being MSI funding. This is a fund that is provided by the provincial government, and we have an agreement that goes till 2021. And Edmonton and Calgary have renegotiated a new agreement, but there needs to be a new agreement that is funded to municipalities that's on a stable basis and related to the economy. So we're hoping for a new deal and something that's fair and that is related to how the economy is doing. Another one is cannabis revenue sharing. So the federal government allowed the provinces to get 75% of the tax revenue, but there's been no commitment made by the provincial governments, or as far as I know, any of the parties at this point, as to what portion of that will be going to municipalities. And lastly is RCMP funding. There is a great need, like a high demand for RCMP within the province, and there's not a clear kind of method that's been laid out of how we're going to increase funding for RCMP that's equitable to all of the municipalities in the province, and especially based on the demand, whether or not the crime warrants it or not.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you so much.
We'll have a little bit more coming up from here at the All Candidates Forum, but for now, let's head into commercial.
All right, I'm back with Danielle from Synergy Credit Union talking about responsible investing. Now, in the last hour, we learned that there are a lot of governance, social, and environmental issues regarding responsible investing. So now I guess we're going to talk about just how popular it is for people to do responsible investing.
So responsible investing is growing rapidly globally and in Canada as well. So the latest responsible investing trends report shows that assets in Canada being managed using one or more responsible investing strategies has increased from 1.5 trillion at the end of 2015 to 2.1 trillion at the end of 2017. So this rapid change represents about a 40% increase in responsible investing in Canada over a 2-year period. Canadian responsible investing assets now represent more than 50% of all assets under management in Canada.
All right, and I guess just also, how does it work? Do people just kind of put money into those certain funds, or how does that whole process work with responsible investing?
So people can choose to invest in a mutual fund or some sort of market style investment that is kind of incorporates responsible investing. So a portfolio manager can use a couple different ways to factor this into the portfolio. The first one would be through negative screening. So that's where they would just totally exclude certain companies that have 10% or more of their revenue coming from certain industries. An example could be tobacco or weapons. Another way that they do it is through positive screening. So an example around fossil fuels would be that they don't necessarily exclude anybody, but they do take the ones who are best in class and kind of open to guidance around how to become more socially responsible. And a third way would be to actually have both negative screening and positive screening in the portfolio.
Absolutely. So I guess just what is an example of investing, just the benefits of investing?
Yeah, so an example was when, I just have an example here, was when shareholder engagement took place with when NEI Investments submitted a shareholder proposal to Suncor Energy in 2016, asking the company to regularly disclose and report on how it plans to operate in a low carbon future. So Suncor's management and board accepted the proposal, and soon they started publishing reports on how it plans to reduce its carbon footprint, manage climate-related risks, and diversify into renewables. So this has raised the bar for corporate sustainability disclosure in the energy sector ever since.
All right. So how does one get comparable returns when make it with these conditions and the investments as well?
Yeah. So it's about minimizing the risk in the portfolio. What we've come to know is you don't have to give up positive returns to have social returns. You can have them both. So
okay, and so I guess just lastly, how does someone get involved? Is that something that you at Synergy provide as well? Those kinds of services, and I guess just also the process of how someone can get involved as well.
Absolutely. So you call Synergy Credit Union today and ask for myself, and I can definitely help you out.
All right. Well, it's plain as simple as that. Well, Danielle, thank you very much for taking time to come down and talk to us today. Always just a great wealth of information from you and everyone down at Synergy. So thank you.
Thank you.
Furniture supplied by Furniture Gallery and Furniture House, downtown Lloydminster.
I'm joined with Dr. Neki Jamal from Wayside Dental, and normally you come in and you chat about what you do at Wayside, but you had a recent adventure, and we wanted to sit you down and pick your brain about it because you do something that's pretty cool. So do you want to kind of explain where you were and what you were doing?
Sure. This year we were in a couple of team members from our office. We went to Costa Rica and Guatemala to provide dental services for people that don't get to go see the dentist, and it's my favorite time of year, and I go every year, and it's awesome.
Yeah. So you were saying that you've done this a couple times, and what kind of originally, before you went, what kind of made you want to get into doing that?
Yeah. I started in 2009, and so this was my 15th trip down there to do dental work. You know, in all honesty, I started looking for an adventure, and I never got the opportunity to travel when I was younger, so I went out looking for an adventure, and I never thought in a million years it would have such a huge impact on my life. Yeah. And you know the old saying, sometimes you don't pick your profession picks you. I didn't know anything about dentistry when I just graduated. You know the technical things, but you don't know the impact you can have on people. And until I went my first time in Guatemala in 2009, I truly felt the impact our profession can have on the world, and it completely changed my life, and I just feel so fortunate to provide care to them.
Absolutely. And then that way you can you do what you do here in Lloydminster, but you can definitely reach out and you feel like you've been able to do that, so that's very cool. What kind of what kind of services are you providing down there?
We do everything from basic fillings and checkups and cleanings. And unfortunately, a lot of time we're pulling teeth, and so we do a lot of extractions down there. There's a lot of abscesses and infection, and our main goal is to get people out of pain, and we're providing a lot of emergent care. And so we do what we can when we can, and we're in a new village every day, and so we'll see lineups of well over 100 people waiting to see us. And so we work until it's pitch black and there's no more lines.
That's crazy. Yeah. So I was going to ask you kind of what that day schedule looks like. So start to finish, you just get up early and
so we travel with a group of about 20 people, and we just work as hard as we can, and we see as many people as we can, and no matter what happens at the end of the day, like more and more people start piling in, and you tell them where you're going to be the next day so they can get
Yeah, they just like
get
follow
hold of it.
you.
Yeah, and they follow us around till
Wow.
they're seen. Yeah.
What a crazy experience.
Yeah,
so just quickly, you want to continue doing this, obviously.
Yeah, this kind of spurred into another project that I called Quench, where we actually drill water wells in the communities that we do dental work in. Because a lot of times the reason their teeth are so poor is because they're drinking a lot of pop, and pop is cheaper than water in Central America. And so everyone's teeth are just horrible, and they just don't have the education that maybe we have here.
Right.
And so they're drinking a lot of pops. We wanted to, change their lives by bringing water to them, fresh, clean water. Water's life.
Yeah.
And so it's really had a huge impact on myself, my office, and everyone just wants to get involved, and that just warms my heart.
Yeah, that's very cool. Super cool. Well, we thank you so much for coming in today and talking about your story and what you do. It's very important to spread what you can, your knowledge and everything like that. So thank you so much for coming in today.
Thanks.
It's always a pleasure to have you.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Well, tonight is the All Candidates Forum here at the Lloyd Exhibition Grounds, here in the Prairie Rooms here, as people have started to pile in, and of course you can come in as well still, as all the candidates from the Vermilion, Lloydminster, and Wainwright region will be, or inside rather, talking to not only the public but also talking and introducing themselves is the word that I'm looking for, introducing themselves to the public as well. So that is going on here at the Lloyd X. You can still come on down until 8:30, as things will be wrapping up around then. And speaking of wrapping up, that'll do it for us here tonight as well. Let's head back into the studio where Connor and Elise will wrap up the rest of the Tonight Show.
All right, thanks very much, Brett. Taking a look at your 7-day forecast one last time. Low of -1 to start off for us on Thursday, when it gets up to 5 degrees. The wind will start to die down. Of course, you can kind of see on the numbers there. Mostly cloudy, maybe a bit of sunshine there. -5 on Friday morning, warming up to 6 degrees. Again, same results, mostly cloudy, maybe a bit of sun here and there. On Saturday, we finally see our first positive number in the morning. It's 0, warming up to 11 degrees on Saturday, but with a 64% chance of some showers there, as we were looking for that first official spring shower that we're expecting rather. 0 degrees on Sunday with mostly cloudy skies and a bit of sun there, warming up to 12 degrees as our highest for our daytime high, excuse me. Then on Monday we finally will see some more sun there with a low of 1 there and a high of 12 degrees with mostly sunny skies there. 1 degree also on Tuesday as well with a high of 13 degrees with a 56% chance though of some flurries there, but again maybe a bit more sun than some of the other previous days there. And 1 degree on Wednesday with mostly cloudy skies and a bit of sun, so the winds are still going to be there. Temperatures are getting pretty warmer, except for those mornings where it's going to be a little cooler, except for those days on Sunday, Monday, and Wednesday, Tuesday.
That's kind of what spring weather is here, right?
It is.
All over the map. Snow, rain, +13, sun, wind. It's you get the whole deal. So that's okay.
Exactly.
I don't mind it.
I kind of want to go back to just a little bit of our question, which is interesting because a lot of the comments were also, hairstyles.
Yes.
Do you still know people that have mullets?
No, the only crew that you know is like hockey teams or like athletic teams that do something for playoffs or something like that, but not who seriously, you don't see it as much.
I had a buddy who had a mullet after high school.
Really?
Yeah, and then he realized that he probably doesn't need that, so he just has the flow.
Yeah, so
which
he was just over
he's just
that.
got the flow.
Nice.
I need to chirp him about that actually when I get home. That's what I'm going to do.
There you go. That's what you can do today.
Well, that's going to do it for us here tonight, folks. Thanks for watching. Have yourselves a great night.
Yeah, have a good night.